Greetings, art criticism students. Welcome to week one. I'm Dan Seidel. I'll be leading you on this 8-week journey. I'm very excited um, about this class. I'm excited about every course that I teach in this terrific graduate online program. I find each time I teach each class is a new opportunity for me to learn and for me to pursue questions that I've been pursuing for 25 years. Um, and this class just happens to be probably the most important question that I've been pursuing, and that is what one can say about and write about a work of art. My graduate training as a graduate student at Stony Brook University, working with the critic Donald Cuspit, and then with um, my doctoral work at the University of Iowa, studying under a historian of art criticism, Stephen Foster. My focus has been on not so much the works of art themselves, but how the works of art themselves have lived in the critical reception of curators and critics and art historians and philosophers thinking about them, and how the afterlife of the work of art beyond the studio has engaged, provoked, and encouraged interpretations. And so art criticism, so this class is a very important class to me, and it's a question that I'm considering, it's a subject that I have been focusing and continue to focus tremendous amount of attention on. So what you'll be getting is, for me, is my current thinking, how it's developed. If you would have taken this course last year, my thinking would have been a little different than it is now. I'm particularly interested in how writing about art shifted in the modern period. And given the fact that this program is a modern art history, theory, and criticism program, I can't imagine a better course in which to explore this, and a better program in which to explore this. But we'll start broadly. We'll start with how do we speak and write responsibly about a work of art? What do we owe a work of art? And in that context, I have a lecture that I gave at Biola University a couple years ago on art criticism and the final judgment, based on the biblical injunction in the New Testament that we will be accountable for every jot and tittle, for every word that is uttered from our lips. And I think about that in relationship to the words that are uttered in and around and under works of art. And so we'll start as broadly as you possibly can. What do you say about a work of art? What are the ethical parameters for speaking responsibly about a work of art? And then we'll move into how writing about works of art have manifested itself throughout Western culture. And we'll look at how different disciplines have thought about, written about, spoken about the work of art. Historians, philosophers, other artists. And we'll focus then upon this shift in writing about works of art from the perspective of critics, and this phenomenon of what a critic is and what a critic does, and how the critic's responsibilities within the context of the academic structure in the academy from the late 16th century, you could say in the 17th and 18th century, and then into the 19th century, what the critic's function was, and how that begins to shift in the middle of the 19th century, towards the end of the 19th and into the 20th century, where we'll be looking at critics who are writing in a very different way, with very different purposes in mind, and we'll explore those purposes. And what is the relationship of a work of art, the visual, to the verbal? What is the relationship between painting and language? And how do we understand their being interwoven? And how does that help us understand language? And how does it help us understand the visual arts? I have made Canvas available. Saki and Canvas and these online platforms are, for an old man like me, confusing and problematic, and pose a whole host of pedagogical challenges that I have certain issues with. And so it's a constant fight for me. But I have Canvas available each week. So if you look at the top of the page, it'll be week 1 through week 8. Just click on week 1 and you'll get an introduction. You'll get the readings and the links, and then you'll get the discussion prompt. And I think I have the discussion prompt set up in such a way that you can respond directly. You can respond to other students. And what I will do then is I will respond to each of your prompts individually, not your responses to the other students. And I'm not grading you on those responses. If you want to interact with your colleagues, you certainly can, and I would encourage you to do so. But you don't have to. And if you do the prompt, get the prompt in on time, and take it seriously, you get full points. And so that's how we'll try to run it. I have in the past run it where you will send your discussion prompt directly to me, and if there's sensitive material, or if there's something, if you just prefer to email it directly to me and have me respond directly to you, I am happy to do that. And in fact, I find that to be the best possible way to proceed. But I will. But let me know if there are any problems with Canvas and with the technology, and I'll try to figure out how to negotiate it. But I do want to stay away from, I think on the online, those of you who have had me before, the challenge of the online education is that it, with lots of bells and whistles, there's lots of pretending that education is happening. And in fact, what it's doing is creating a certain kind of consumerist, passive, content-based, quote-unquote education, in which the real power and the strength and the challenge of thinking and thinking deeply is actually discouraged. And so I want to keep that I want to keep those embers aflame, and that is why we're here. And we're here to think deeply. And oftentimes, technology can get in the way. And so I'm going to provide you each week with a lot of readings, but I'm not asking you to do all those readings each week. I'm asking you to I will tell you which ones I think you should focus on, but I'm giving you these materials for your library. I am presuming that you are building a library, that you're building research and resources that you'll be using for other classes. And so perhaps 2 or 3 articles you're not able to get to now, but you print them out and you put them away, and you have them in a folder that you can refer to when you are working on another class, or when you are working on your final paper. Because this class, the focal point of this class is to get you to the place where you can write this final paper. And this course is taught several ways. I have taught it as a history and theory class. We will have one practicum writing art criticism exercise so that you are able to experience the difficulty of it. But I'm not presupposing that you know what art criticism is, because I don't think any of us actually do, and how it functions. And so we need to look at it from a historical perspective, given the fact that this program is a program that is art history, theory, and criticism. And I teach this course from the perspective of a history of art criticism, and I just so happen to have a doctorate that focuses on it. So perhaps you're lucky, perhaps you're cursed. But this is something that I devote a tremendous amount of my time to thinking about. I will try to give you a video chat like this for you to see my face on a weekly basis. I'll give some overview of what you'll be reading and what you're looking at. And perhaps at the end of the week, after I've read your discussion prompts, I may do another video chat to respond to some of those questions, or perhaps some of those questions ignited in me a way of thinking about the subject. I should also say I'm blown away by your commitment to do this program, do this class and this program in the context of your adult lives. That for most of you, this is continuing education. This is continuing education in the context of adult responsibilities with family and with a job that you are exhausted. You come home from work and then you have to read. You do reading for this program. I admire it immensely, and it also means that I will work with you if a week is a particularly bad week with family or at work. I will work with you. The deadlines are there for your purposes, not for mine. And so if you need an extra day or so, please let me know. And I'm willing to work with you. And also just keep in mind that that the materials that I'm giving you, I'm not burdening you for this weekly deadlines. And so please don't feel burdened. If you read one article and are able to respond, use it in the discussion prompt and respond in a deeply thoughtful way, I find that to be very successful. And in fact, we could very, very much spend 8 weeks reading one article a week and focusing our attention on that, and receive and have a tremendous experience and reveal aspects of art criticism that are quite powerful and profound. We won't be that extreme, but I do want to emphasize that I am interested in depth rather than breadth. I'm interested in content rather than bells and whistles. I'm interested in actual thought rather than the appearance and the performance of thought-like activities. And so this is a reading, thinking, writing class. Also, I'm available 24/7 to respond to your emails if you have any questions about the material. If you have any questions that emerge from this class that open up onto other classes, or various aspects of questions about vocation and about professional opportunities, or just what art history is in general, etc., please let me know. I'm happy to and eager to respond. I am here for you, and I am leading you on this 8-week journey through art criticism. Now, some of you are also taking the course that I'm teaching, Regional Modernism, which is a particularly different animal for me. It's a course I've never taught before. It's a course, the subject that is quite diverse and complex, and so you'll be doubling up, and so I wish you well for that. I regret that I'm not able to be in a classroom or a seminar room with you. I regret that I'm not able to lead you on a museum tour, for us to go to galleries and to be able to look at works and be able to do some writing, some practical writing. But I hope that over these next 8 weeks that something about art criticism will be unveiled to you, that you'll learn something more about what it means to be an art critic, but also what it means to have been an art critic evolving throughout Western culture, and in particular in the modern period of the last 200 years. As an historian, I find thinking historically to be crucial, and having the long view of history and understanding the complexities of historical process is a necessary is a necessary skill of responsible citizenship, and particularly in our precarious political times, it's even more important. Um, and so we will be thinking historically, and thinking historically in the context of the implications that it has for the contemporary art world. So I hope these comments are of interest to you. I'm excited about what the next 8 weeks holds. And as I have often said, for those of you that have had me before, I teach because I'm interested in it. It's all well and good that I'm teaching you guys, but I'm doing it for selfish purposes. I have questions that I'm pursuing, and so I have skin in the game here, and I'm a student just along with you guys. I just happen to have been doing it for longer and spending more time focusing upon this. And so I will guide you along the journey that each of us are on. And I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about how your thinking will help me think, and that my class, when I teach this course again, will benefit from the conversations that we have and the thinking that you are able to put to this subject. So with that, I'll let you go. Have a great week, and blessings to you.